WWE Clash in
Right, to the
Paris
gym this
review.
morning on Monday morning after a really entertaining clash in Paris, with I would say 3 excellent matches and 3 pretty forgettable matches, but a great ending and a great beginning, definitely. Show kicked off with its raucous 30,000 crowd in Paris in an arena. So it feels like it's a big arena. It's like an old WWE show where they never used to do stadiums and then sometimes they would do big arenas, but incredibly loud as expected French crowd, raucous French crowd who were into everything. Some stuff more than others, as always with every crowd. It's kicked off with Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, the tribal chief versus the tribal thief. It started hot. The pop for Roman, I mean, there was 3 massive pops, entrances wise, I would say, that happened. Roman Reigns, John Cena and CM Punk probably got the 3 biggest pops, just like old school. I mean, it's happening a lot now at the moment, but quite old school pops that are going on with regards to like Stone Cold, The Rock, those sorts of days. People were like, oh god, no one really entertaining opener. Bronson looked really good. Roman obviously looked like Roman. I thought it was a really entertaining match. I wasn't entirely sure that Roman Reigns would go over and win, just because we know he's going to be out for a while, and they're building Bronson Reed. But Roman Reigns eventually does win it. He avoids Tsunami several times, hits Bronson Reed with a spear. There were some great moments in the match, and then we get the post-match, which was almost as long as the match, and I think the whole thing took almost an hour, but it did not feel like an hour. It felt like a very entertaining opening to a PLE, quite different in terms of how long they took the beat down. So Roman then is celebrating because he's got his Schulafala back, he's got his trainers, he's cutting the laces. He was cutting the lace. I mean, that's a different subject, and that's just sneaker conversation. But as he's doing this, and he's signing shoes, handing them out to the crowd, some very lucky people, out of absolutely nowhere. Normally you hear the crowd before and all that, comes Braun Breaker from one table to another, spear through the table, and it looked good. That looked like a hell of a spear. And then Roman's in trouble, and then the beatdown continues. Then he gets stretchered. He gets 3 Ulafalas, 2 on the stretcher. Jay at some point comes in quite late to help him. He also gets a spear, which obviously then throws his participation in the main event in jeopardy. But I thought this was a really, really good opening. The Street Profits 50 minutes versus the Wyatts, which the Wyatts won with interference from the entire Wyatt family. The only thing I think that I can remember that was interesting in this match was the sort of seeds of tension between Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. So is that leading to something to do with the Wyatts, a heel turn, something like that? I don't know if I've said it on camera, I've said it on videos before ages. I think Montez Ford could do with being a solo star. We had that glimpse, when was it, years ago, when they had the Elimination Chamber in Montreal. I think he could do with that, and if that's the way they're going, I'm not going to be unhappy. That was Becky defending against Nikki Bella. It was a decent match, I thought. The crowd were way behind Becky, and it almost looked, I don't know, sad that they were actually booing Nikki Bella, because obviously she's supposed to be the babyface there, but this happens. She's a very experienced wrestler, and I'm sure it was fine. It was an okay match. It wasn't bad. It wasn't awful. So it ended with the Lynch pin, which Wade Barrett has christened the Lynch pin, which is her excellent pin. Wasn't as smooth as the one at Evolution against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, but it was a decent match. Becky gets the win, and obviously that's not the last we see of Becky Lynch. And the crowd were way behind her, way in support of her. Next up was the Donnybrook match, which if you watched my preview, you knew I had no interest in watching. And I mean, I was watching live, so I did watch it, but I was looking at my phone and reading the reaction to Liverpool beating Arsenal and seeing if Liverpool had signed Isak. But it was okay, it was violent, it was as expected. They beat the living hell out of each other. I think, it served the purpose of what the match is. And I don't know if Rusev winning is actually going to get people to care about him, but he did win. And Sheamus actually tapped out, which is not what you often see. And I think they said on commentary only the second time he's ever tapped out. So that's what we got to. And then we got to the 2, I guess, other main events, or however you want to call it. And John Cena versus Logan Paul. And I don't want to hear any more hate for Logan Paul, because this was an excellent match. This was the second best match of John Cena's retirement tour, I would say. Obviously, Cody at SummerSlam was the best match, but I would say this is the second best match. Crowd massively. I mean, John Cena's entrance, the hatred for Logan Paul and the love for John Cena, knowing you're literally seeing the last literally handful of matches now, and obviously the last time he's having a match in Europe, was phenomenal. And it did make you think when he goes to Perth in Australia that the ovation and the cheers are going to be huge. I think every single match in Indianapolis, his last match, if there's War Games, if he's at that as well, is going to be huge. I thought this was an excellent wrestling match. He's always had accusations of being limited, but when he's had the right opponent, he has produced great matches. I did want Logan Paul to win. As you know, we are fans of Logan Paul. So Cena finally wins with a super, well, it wasn't a super AA, it was the AA where he picks the person up from a flying crossbody lock into an AA. And then Logan Paul actually retaliates with his one lucky punch, but falls back into another AA, and John Cena finally gets the pin. It was quite a long match, but as I said, a fantastic match. Onto our main event of the evening, which is the Fatal 4-Way. I wasn't actually sure whether Cena, as I said in my preview video, whether Cena and Logan Paul would be the main event, but it wasn't. This was the main event, and it was a fantastic main event. As expected. I don't know why, if people weren't looking forward to it or whatever reason. It was expected. Obviously the added twist of Jay injury, and more importantly, no one in Seth's corner. Heyman's gone to hospital along with Roman Reigns, and Braun Breaker and Braun Strowman are banned from the arena, or they'll be suspended. So that did add an intriguing element. And do you know what? For a second, I thought CM Punk was going to win. I loved the ending, the stomp or whatever he was going to do onto the chair, which then did Seth's leg. One GTS, about to do a second GTS, which I love that spot where he just falls back into the ropes onto it. That's how he won on Raw Premiere on Netflix. And then a low blow from a mysterious character in a black hoodie, and it wasn't R-Truth this time, but it was Seth Rollins' wife, Becky Lynch. I did not see that coming, and if you did and you were like, oh, it was disappointing or whatever, good for you, whatever, I did not see that coming. And my immediate thought, as 90% of wrestling fans I'm sure thought of, was, is AJ Lee going to come back? Are we going to actually get a mixed tag match that really means something? Yeah, so overall I think it was a good show. You know, if we're doing marks out of 10 or whatever, like 7.5 out of 10, I think. 3 really good matches, the 3 big matches delivered, which is always important. Only I think 3 weeks to wait till the next one, and it feels like they're going to do something big, because obviously it's the first show on ESPN. So what were your thoughts? What was your favourite match? What do you think we're going to do with this Becky Lynch thing? Obviously we've got Raw tonight, and in Paris 7 PM UK time, it's going to actually watch that live today. Yeah, what are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen? Becky Lynch going to somehow try and get that women's world title to go with it, Intercontinental title?